Hey guys, it's Jason from Aquarium and Reptile Depot. We are in front of the coral section here, and because we started shipping corals, plants, and fish, I want to discuss a little bit about corals with you. So as you can see, this coral flat is filled with a bunch of different corals, from torches to frog spawn to oxo spawn to SPS and things like that. But I want to talk about a lot of beginner corals for you guys here today, because that's what a lot of customers start with. And then if you advance, then you can definitely do some more challenging corals. But we're going to discuss the easier stuff to kind of begin with. And then we do ship those corals to you. So just remember that we have ice packs, heat packs, styrofoam boxes, and all that fun stuff so we can get it to your door. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these corals here. Yeah, so talk about the easier corals here. We're in between our frag section and then our colony section here. So a lot of the easier corals that we recommend starting with, just to test your waters out, is softies. Softies are mushrooms, those are zoanthids, those are pallies, those are leather corals. So why we recommend soft coral to begin with, because they don't have an exoskeleton, so their water chemistry isn't as important. We still stress water quality always, but then you don't have to worry about dosing, and we'll get into that in another video. But just keep good water quality, keep good salt content, and they're definitely a little bit more forgiving because they don't have that exoskeleton. So basically, they're just the soft, that's why they're called. They're just soft, so they don't have bones in it. And what I was saying earlier is the leather corals are a great way to start. They're kind of big, they're kind of robust. We just kind of turned on the lights, so they're just kind of waking up. But we have a leather coral here that's kind of was sleeping. He's gonna wake up here shortly here. But those are a great one because they get big. You'll see it in our display aquariums. We like to have those in there. They kind of look like a hard coral because they get so big and look like they have different branches on them, so a good option. Mushrooms are gonna be in this section here as well. There's a lot of little, basically like mushrooms in the water. They have a lot of different colors. There's greens, there's reds, there's blues, there's oranges. So that's a really good option about mushroom coral in reef aquariums, because they give you a lot of options. They'll kind of just spread over a rock and just kind of take over. And then we have polyps. The polyps are again in this section here. We have a lot of, they look like little flowers, and they'll open, they'll close, and they'll tell you when they're doing well and when they're not doing well. So if you want to start with the corals like that, that's where we recommend beginning. And then if you advance and you want to jump into the next set, I would look into LPS, and that was kind of in the front tank, mostly like euphyllias and acans, and those have a little bit of bone, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on your water chemistry. What we would suggest here as far as like salt content is 1.025 for specific gravity. Your carbonate hardness, or your Ka, should be about 8 or 9. Your calcium is between 400 and 500, and your magnesium 1350 to 1500. We do aquaspin test here, so if you're not sure about it, you can definitely come into the store, bring in a sample, and we'll run a test for you. If not, we sell test kits. We carry Salifert, we carry Hanna, and API. So there's a lot of different types of water test kits out there. That's your best investment as far as just keeping your reef tank in check. And then once you get these corals home and you're ready to set them in, just remember, when you put corals in your tank, set them a little lower than where you would want them, because corals can kind of almost get sunburnt. So sometimes when it's too bright on them, too much color, or too much light on them, they'll actually burn. So you actually want to set them a little lower in your aquarium and then acclimate them slowly to the top. But when you get your corals home, we always recommend Coral Dip, Coral RX, we have Revive, a lot of different types of dips for you. And then we also recommend getting a little bit of food for them. Phytoplankton's always popular, especially from Coral Hub US or Reef Nutrition, because that feeds zooanthely. And I'll show you some options there. And then a little bit of coral food, just to give some food for the coral. And they'll feed off the light, and they'll feed off some of the fish's excess food and their waste a little bit, but you also want to supplement them some food. But that's a great way to start on the corals. So definitely tell staff when you come in here what you're looking for, how big your tank is. Make sure the fish that you get in there are reef safe. So remember, the more information we know, the better we can assess assist you. It's not we're trying to qualify or validate you. We just want to make sure that we set you up for success, right? Like that's our motto here. If you guys succeed, then we succeed. That's so simple for us, because this is a long-term hobby and we hope to have you guys in the hobby for a very, very long time. So that's what our goal is. But let me show you some products that you can put in with your new coral that you got in. We have some coral dip here. What I was saying earlier, coral dip just protects your corals during transport, and you know, any hitchhikers you want to get off of them. We dip all the corals before they go in, but it's always a good rule of thumb to dip anything that goes in your aquarium, whether it's from us, whether it's from another store, or whether it's private. Just make sure you dip them. It's well worth it. And then we're near the coral food here. This is all our Reef Nutrition, our coral hub food here. So a lot, like I said, start with phytoplankton. The live stuff is a little safer because you can't really overdo it. The concentrate, you might do a little bit too much, and then that will drive your nitrates and phosphates up and so forth and so on. But yeah, we have oyster feast, we have roe, we have rotafeast, beta brine. We have the full line from Reef Nutrition for coral foods. And then we have Red Sea AB+, and we have Reefroids, Benepets. Jeff's already did a video on coral feeding, so definitely look into that. But we have that all covered for you guys. So just make sure now that you remember that we ship corals. So if you want to come into the store, of course you can cherry pick whatever you like. But if you're not from around the area or you can't make it in the store, just remember we are shipping corals, plants, and fish now. So we can get anything living to your, at least what we carry, into your home or business. We're shipping only. We do products as well. So just remember that. Again, that's about it, I think, for this video. I can't think of anything else. So I guess we'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you follow us on all our social media, comment below, subscribe to the channel, like these videos. It helps us a lot to get the engagement up. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.